Hi guys, it's Monday morning and today we want to talk about how to glow up in spring. As I'm filming this video, we're still very much in winter, but today feels like such a spring-like day that it made me think that, okay, I think we are transitioning to spring. I mean, the sun is shining, the snow has almost fully melted. I mean, we can still get more snow. I live in Finland, so, we can have snow pretty much till the end of April. It's no big deal. But regardless of what the weather might look like outside, I think we all feel that the spring is coming. And we want to capitalize on this energy because I feel that spring is the best season to stay committed to your goals, to work on your nutrition, to adjust your exercise routine if necessary, because you just feel alive in spring. You feel like you want to get back to your spiritual practice, or you want to spend more time in nature, or you want to spend more time with your loved ones. A lot of people fall in love in spring, which again just proves the point that you get more of this energy, more of this connection to the source and more of this alignment. And that's what I want to touch upon in this video. I will use the term glow up loosely. When I talk about glowing up, I do not mean simply changing your physical appearance. Although if that's your goal, it's fine and we will cover that part as well. But to me, glowing up means simply feeling good about your life. And feeling good about your life comes from many different sources. It, of course, comes from your diet or your nutrition and your workout routine, because we're meant to eat well and we're meant to stay active. But it also comes from the feeling of fulfillment that you might get from your job or from your side hustle or from whatever activities that give you this feeling of self-fulfillment. It also comes from the feeling of belonging that you get from spending time with your loved ones, your partner, your friends, your family. It also comes from the feeling of certain interconnectedness with the world that you get by spending time in nature, by going on walks, by meditating and going back to your spiritual practice. To me, that's what a true glow up is. It encompasses all of these areas of life. And we're also not talking about resetting anything, as you might know, or if you're new, then I'm just gonna say it. I have a strong allergy reaction to the word reset. I don't do it, I do not recommend it to anyone, and I honestly consider this method, this approach, as ineffective and inefficient. You really do not need to reinvent the wheel or reinvent your routine every time you approach a new season of your life or a new yearly season. What you do need to do is just be realistic with your goals, to be realistic with your expectations and realistic with how much time you genuinely have. So I will show you what I'm doing and how I'm preparing for spring. There will be no major changes to my routine, just some minor tweaks here and there for better alignment, and I hope it will resonate with you. And now I'm gonna go for a walk. The sun is out, so I want to capitalize on that vitamin D, and I will see you in a moment. Hi guys, it's a little bit later already. I just came back home and I did a few things. Well, you saw it, but let's talk about spring now. I have to say that spring is by far my favorite season, and not only because my birthday is in spring, it's the 10th of May, by the way, if you're interested, and I'm turning 27 also if you're interested, but regardless, I feel that I am the most productive in spring, and not only in this traditional sense, so not only I get more work done and I'm much more efficient with my time, but also I'm generally more energetic. Spring is usually the time when I get back to my spiritual practice, when I feel drawn to spirituality. I feel like reading about spirituality, listening to podcasts about it, talking about it with my friends and all of that jazz. I also feel more creative in spring. Getting new ideas is much easier. I usually start new projects in spring. I'm also much more interested in my own hobbies like reading or painting. I feel like spring and autumn are the two seasons here when you can be the most productive and when you can do something with your life. Winter here is just dreadful. It's dark, it's gloomy, you can spend much time outside. The cold, mind you, is not the problem, because when it's cold, it's usually also bright, because there's this correlation between negative temperatures and clear sky. But most of the time, it's not even that cold where I live. I live in southern Finland. It's just this like minor polar night that the sun is down most of the time. We don't have like a real polar night, but we do have like only a few hours of daylight, and these hours of daylight are not bright either because it's usually always cloudy and gloomy. So yeah, winter is not great for any type of productivity, and then summer is not great either because, well, first of all, I can't tolerate heat that well because I have hyperthyroidism, and I don't know why, but people with hyperthyroidism can't take heat. And then also it's very bright during the night. Since we have something similar to polar night in winter, we also have something similar to polar day in summer. Again, we do have some nighttime, but it's a very short night. It's only a few hours and it's not very dark, so it's very hard to fall asleep. And on top of that, the apartment buildings here, or like generally, I think like most of the buildings in Finland are built to trap heat inside, because again, it's a very cold country, and it just makes sense that for most of the time the buildings keep this heat inside so that you don't get cold in colder months. But in summer it's very hard to fall asleep because it's just too hot indoors. So if you do not have AC, and we do not have AC, it's very hard to fall asleep because it's bright, it's hot. And even if you do not live in Nordics and you don't have this natural disaster, so to say, I think still summer is the time when you focus more on socializing, on going out, on spending time in nature. You might not be as goal-oriented in summer because it's just summer, right? And you want to be out, you want to spend time with your friends, or by the beach, by the water, or you want to spend time in nature. So yeah, I feel that summer might also be not the best time for chasing your goals, but spring is. And as I said, I absolutely love spring. I even love this early spring when the snow is melting and there are puddles everywhere and there is occasional dog poo floating around, or maybe not occasional depending on where you live. I love even that period of time because I just feel so much lighter and fresher and more energetic, and yeah, nothing beats this feeling, absolutely nothing. And I know that I'm gonna make a lot of plans for spring and I probably won't be able to achieve even half of them, but you know what? Sometimes planning has its own merits. And one of the things I really want to do this spring, and we'll see how it goes, but it is working on my diet. So what I mean by that, I had a flu last week. Again, I feel like I've been getting sick way more often these days, and that's one of the reasons why I want to focus more on my diet right now, because while it's also normal to catch a cold every now and then, even if it happens often, and there are like different types of viruses, and maybe I haven't built immunity to all of them or some of them or whatever, and maybe I was stressed. You know, there are many things as to why you might get a cold, but still, I want to support myself with a slightly better diet. For example, my partner and I, in winter, we do eat out a bit more often than we should probably, and it's okay. Sometimes you really have to rely on, well, fast food or pre-made food or whatever, because even though we split cooking and other house chores, sometimes you just don't have energy to cook, and sometimes it's more convenient to eat out, and that is okay, especially in winter when you have zero energy to do anything and you still have a full-time job. What I'm saying is that it's okay to eat out and it's okay to rely on pre-made dinners, but I started noticing certain signals from my body, I guess, that I need to adjust my nutrition. For example, I've been struggling a little bit, not like really struggling, but I've been experiencing some minor indigestion. I've been experiencing some minor fatigue symptoms. Sorry, I tapped the table again. I also, as I mentioned, I've been getting sick more often, and I feel that I know for a fact that what you eat does influence your immune response, your mental health. I'm actually now reading this book. It's called This Is Your Brain on Food. I don't know if you can see that. It's actually probably not the best way to show the book, but anyway, the book is called This Is Your Brain on Food, and it is about this mind-gut connection and how your diet affects your mental health. If you like the book Got the Inside Story of Our Most Underrated Organ, I think you might like this one too. The author is a psychiatrist and a nutritionist, and I really like the point she makes about our diet affecting our mental health, right? We are all familiar with how our mental health issues can manifest physically, right? We all know how people with depression get some bowel issues or some digestion issues. We all know how people with anxiety also get some digestion issues. But the opposite is also true, and our eating habits and our gut microbiome affects our mental health just as much as our mental health affects the rest of our body. And I think a lot of the times we are in denial about this connection between our gut and our mind. I really like that the book proves that, because again, it relies on a whole body of research. And I also like how her approach to dieting, let's call it that way, is not about restricting any foods, any food groups, but more about introducing variety into your diet. She talks about that, yes, sugar is not great for you, but instead of focusing on cutting down on sugar, you should focus on introducing more vegetables or more fruits or more berries or whatever that is lacking in your diet. And this is something I want to try out myself, because I feel that even though I do follow this 80-20 principle and 80% of my diet is healthy, it's also very repetitive and I tend to eat the same food groups. So I feel that my diet, my nutrition issue might be actually down to the lack of variety, and I want to focus on this said variety. I want to introduce more different vegetables, maybe berries. I want to potentially replace this sweet sugary yogurt we use for breakfast with a healthier choice. And yes, we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm gonna pause this video. I'm gonna go and make myself some lunch, and I will see you probably later today or tomorrow. So here's my lunch. We have soft-boiled eggs, buckwheat, spinach, carrots, and a bit of hummus for extra taste. All these things I absolutely love, and all of them are packed with nutrients. And I just wanted to prove a point that a healthy diet doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. It's Tuesday, 9:15 in the morning, and if my face looks a little bit old, a little bit swollen, then well, the issue is that they turned off water in our apartment block. I only managed to brush my teeth. I didn't manage to wash my face, and even brushing my teeth is sheer luck if you ask me. And I can definitely feel that my face is very dry, and it also feels a bit swollen. So if it shows on camera, then it does, and we can't do anything about it. And if it doesn't, then I guess I'm being paranoid, and that's it. And by the way, if you can hear any rustling in the background, it's just some, well, they're doing some maintenance work outside, and I think that's actually the reason of our water issue here, but yeah, we just gotta make do with it. Yesterday, the last thing I talked about was working on my diet, or I do not want to use the word diet due to its negative connotation, so I'm gonna say working on my nutrition. And one thing I didn't mention, although I touched on it briefly, is the whole notion of variety, or how to improve your eating habits by focusing on adding more different food groups instead of restricting anything. I mentioned that in this book, that's what this book talks about, how you should just like bring more variety to your diet, add different foods, just make sure that, well, you eat different things. I already said that. But I also noticed in my own life, and I have this, well, I guess obsessive personality. I really like to be in control. I get easily obsessed over things. I had my own eating issues in the past, and I know how easy it is to went down the rabbit hole and start counting calories, or start focusing on limiting the amount of calories well, I guess you consume, not necessarily burn, but you consume on a daily basis, and focus on restricting certain foods, restricting sugar, restricting this, restricting that. I know how easy it is to get to this point. So if your mind also has these obsessive tendencies, what I noticed works really well is, instead of giving it opportunities to reduce or decrease something, right? Either it's like restricting certain food groups, or reducing your waste, or well, cleaning, I guess, also falls into that category. So instead of doing that, you focus on increasing the amount of something. So when it comes to nutrition, instead of focusing on eliminating sugar from your diet, you focus on eating more vegetables, adding more healthy sources of fat, adding more protein to your diet. And trust me, once you get enough micro and macronutrients from your diet, then you will naturally feel satiated, and you won't feel drawn to fast food or sugary things, because at the end of the day, we crave sugar or fat or fast food because they're very calorie dense, and they provide us with the much needed energy that we usually don't get from our normal diet. For example, what I'm planning to do, or what I'm doing already, is, instead of thinking of, okay, how can I decrease the amount of fast food I consume in a week, I think of, how can I eat more leafy greens, for example, right? Leafy greens are usually a great source of iron, a great source of fiber, depending on the leafy green itself, depending on the, well, vegetable itself, it will also be packed with different vitamins and other nutrients and minerals too. So when I go to the store and buy myself lunch, instead of buying pre-made raviolis, for example, although I gotta say that even pre-made raviolis here are very healthy, because again, I live in Nordics and the food regulations here are super strict. But anyway, instead of buying pre-made raviolis, I will try to get something that might be just a little bit harder to cook. Like, I can buy some grains, I can buy eggs. They don't take that much time to cook. And then I will also get a lot of vegetables, including leafy greens. So instead of eating, well, let's call it, it's not really fast food, but instead of eating pre-made meals, I will try to buy more vegetables, especially leafy greens. And once I'm full, I do not feel like eating any fast food or any sweets or anything, because I'm just full and I don't need this extra energy anymore. I think if you struggled with dieting in the past, but you're determined to improve your eating habits, obsessing over increasing certain food groups instead of reducing or restricting anything might be a way better approach. And then another big plan that I feel will help me glow up this spring is I want to do more yoga. I used to do a lot of yoga for 5-6 years ago, but once I joined our local gym, I pretty much stopped doing it. And working out different muscle groups is super important, especially if you're a woman. Post-menopause women lose their muscle mass very quickly if they do not engage in strength training. And of course we want to prevent that, because this is the prerequisite for a high quality of life in your winter season, because when your muscles are weak, you can't really walk, you can't really do anything, you can't even like go to the bathroom properly because you just can't sit down. And we want to enjoy our life even when we are, I don't know, 70, 80, 90 years of age. So strength training is very important, especially if you are a woman. But with that being said, since as I like to say that most of my workday is just sitting in front of the computer and typing away, that of course affects my neck and my shoulders and my chest. And I feel that strength training doesn't really help with that. So even though I do bench press and overhead press, it does increase my upper body muscles, but it is not enough to sort of open up my chest. And I feel that yoga is actually very good for opening up your chest, while relaxing the muscles, which sometimes is even more important than strengthening them. And that might be a crazy thing to say, but I feel that spring is the lung season. So you do want to open up, you do want to expand, especially in your upper back area. And don't quote me on that, but this is how I feel about the spring season, and I sort of want to align my mental state and my physical body, my physical well-being, and for that I want to do more yoga. I also noticed that yoga helps quite a lot with my mental health as well, which is no surprise because we all know the benefits of yoga on mental health. And while I absolutely love going to the gym and it has its own benefits on my mental health, I feel that again in spring, I guess I have to say that I feel drawn to yoga, and that's why I want to do it. And then I've been meditating regularly since mid-December. I actually started this meditation challenge, and it's nothing public. I didn't join any community or didn't follow any Instagram page to do this challenge. I just decided to run an experiment for myself. And by the way, I'm gonna say it real quick that if you struggle with building a habit, then reframing it as an experiment might work for you. At least I noticed that for myself when I view it not as a commitment, not as a habit I'm supposed to stick to, but rather as an experiment. Then I'm gonna test and try out and see if anything sticks, and if it does, then in what kind of way it sticks. So instead of building these rigid structures, I try to have a more flexible approach, and I feel that reframing habit building as an experiment really helps me to do so. Anyway, I've been running this experiment, just trying to see what kind of schedule works the best for me in terms of meditation. I try to do it in the morning, in the evening, during the day. I just tried different approaches. I tried to do a seated meditation, I tried to lie down, I just basically tested different approaches to meditation. And I noticed that mornings and evenings are the best. Evenings might be a little bit better because for some reason I get anxious in the evening, so it actually helps me calm down and process my thoughts, and also I guess find some clarity, some extra headspace. And then in the morning it's very good because then I guess it's just good for you to be with your thoughts before you start your day. But anyway, currently I prefer to meditate in the evening because, again, due to this anxiety thing, but sometimes I also do it in the morning. And I don't do it every single day, although I really try to, but it is okay because, again, it is an experiment and my goal is not to be perfect with it, I guess. My goal is not to meditate every single day without a fault, but my goal is to get back to meditation, because I noticed that just as meditating is a practice in itself, right? You get a lot of thoughts in your head, you get distracted, and just as meditating is a practice of going back to your breath and going back to just observing your thoughts, in the same way, going back to meditation is a practice, right? You tend to fall off the schedule, you tend to forget about it. The key here is not to deem it as, okay, this practice is ruined, but the key here is just to get back to it. Just as you get back to your breath, you get back to your regular meditation practice. So that's what I've been doing now. And I have to say that, so I used to also meditate quite a lot back in the day. And I wouldn't say that right now the benefits are so great. When I just started, then the benefits were great when I just started. Let's put it that way. My mental health improved. I was much calmer. I was much better at handling stress. Right now, I would say I'm a pretty chill person already, but it still helps me unwind in the evening. It helps me process some unprocessed thoughts. It helps me just meet my thoughts and attend to them, which is good by itself. And then sometimes what I do is I sort of combine a gratitude exercise with this metta meditation. If you don't know metta or maitri, it's this loving kindness meditation. It was like very popular back in 2021 when COVID just started, and it's practically a visualization practice when you imagine just sharing your light first with people that you know and care about, and slowly just increase it to the whole world. So sometimes I combine gratitude practice with these elements of the metta practice, and I just first go through the things I'm grateful for, and then I use this energy and I visualize myself sharing this energy with the rest of the world. It's nothing big, but I find that this practice helps me stay positive, and it also helps me feel more connected to the world, which I think is the whole goal of any spiritual practice, right? We want to feel connected to the world, to other people, to nature, whatever it is. And I also think that spirituality is a big part of glowing up. As I said in the very beginning, glowing up is not just about looking better, but it's also, and maybe even more, about feeling better. And a big part of feeling better is, in my personal opinion, is this feeling of belonging and feeling of interconnectedness that you get from your own spiritual practice. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to follow a particular religion, although if you do, then you do, and that's your thing. But your spiritual practice can be just your own practice based on your own rituals and your own beliefs. Yes. And with that, I'm actually going to take a break. My throat, I'm very thirsty, and I can hear that my voice is very raspy, and I also need to work actually. So yes, we're going to take a pause right now, and I will see you in a moment. It's Wednesday morning. Since it's Wednesday, I have a lighter workload today, so I will only have a few meetings. I will need to film today, not only for this video, but I'm also filming another video today. So I'll have 2 client meetings today, then I'll do a bit of filming, and then that's pretty much about it. And then the rest of the day will be dedicated to reflection. It will be reflection time. I was planning to go for a walk, but it's raining today, so I'm probably not gonna do that because I'm afraid that I might catch a cold if I stay outside when it's raining. At least, that's what my parents used to tell me, and I still, to this day, believe it. And also, I just recovered from the cold, so I don't want to make things worse for myself. But you know what? the sound of the rain tapping on the window makes me feel very, very cozy. And also, it's clearly a spring rain. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but to me, there is a difference between winter rain, spring rain, autumn rains. Well, basically, there is a difference between rains in different seasons. The spring rain always feels like a fresh beginning, right? It washes away all the snow, all the dust, all the dirt. It feels like the sound of it feels somewhat lighter. And yeah, since it gives me very strong spring vibes, I don't mind it at all. And since I have nowhere to be, I don't need to go out, I think I can just enjoy the coziness of this weather. So yeah, that's gonna be the vibe for today. But regardless, what I want to talk about now is a sense of fulfillment, a sense of meaning, and a sense of purpose. The spring season is all about alignment. It's all about finding and staying aligned with your purpose. And for me, and I think for many of you watching this video, this sense of purpose comes from work. It doesn't have to be about work. For some people, their sense of purpose comes from their family, their spiritual practice, their hobbies, being in nature, yada, yada, yada. That's why we're all different. But for me in particular, and I think for many young people, it is about our careers, and we derive this sense of fulfillment by doing something we believe in, by contributing to the society. I do feel that you need some occupation to feel like you're doing something meaningful in your life. And I understand that that's not everyone's situation, and there are plenty of people for whom their job is only a source of money to pay their bills, to pay rent, to afford things in life, or maybe even to fund a side hustle, and then they derive meaning from their side hustle. That's also fine. Again, there are many different variations, and there are many different ways in which this whole thing can work. And why I'm talking about it is that this spring, I really want to focus on reminding myself of how much my work means to me. Because theoretically, I know it pretty well. I know that I derive my sense of fulfillment from my work, but in the moment, I tend to forget about it. I tend to treat my work like another task on my to-do list. I tend to obsess over the outcome and not the process. I tend to rush the whole thing, and then I forget how much joy it genuinely brings me. So I want to start this practice of taking little breaks throughout the day and just pause and reconnect with my feelings and remind myself of how grateful I am for having the work that I do and living the life that I do, because I do truly believe in the mission that I outline for myself. I do want to help smaller companies in the Nordic region develop their own technology and bring this technology to the market, because I do think that Europe, especially the Nordic countries, can benefit from developing their own technologies and keeping them in the European Union rather than just selling them abroad. But yeah, that's me going on a rant. So that's the practice, or sort of the mindset, I want to adopt for the coming spring season. And if you haven't found your purpose yet, or if you feel like you might not even have one, then it's not necessarily a bad place to be in. Just keep your eyes open, stay open to different opportunities, and just give yourself time to explore. It is a good thing that you're not set on your purpose, and in fact, you should never be set on a purpose. It can change, right? You can have many different purposes throughout your life. That is okay. But yeah, just stay open. Trust the process, despite how cliche it might sound, and you will get to it. Turn this spring season into your season of inner exploration. You know what? I am just yet another girl, and I like pretty things. I like flowers, and tulips, apart from being pretty flowers, also remind me of spring. So I'm very happy that I got them. I'm very happy that they're now here, and they brighten my day even when it's raining outside. So if you're feeling dull, if you're feeling inspired, If you'd like to invite more spring into your life, consider getting yourself some flowers. Hi guys, it's already 3 in the afternoon. I just finished the video and then I was so tired from talking that I had to lie down on the couch for like 30 minutes. So shout out to all the low energy girlies or low energy boys, whoever you are, however you identify. I totally feel you. Sometimes you really just have to take a break. And by the way, it's been such a struggle for me to accept the fact that I'm not an energetic person. I cannot be as productive as, I don't know, other content creators or even some of my friends, because I just do not have that energy. But you know what? The worst thing you can do to yourself is to keep pushing through when you're completely exhausted and out of juice. So take my example and remember to take a break when you need it. And I know that not everyone might be in a position to take a break, but even when I worked in corporate and when I would feel out of juice, I would try to carve out even 10-15 minutes to just be with myself and my own thoughts and maybe just drink some water and do nothing. Trust me, even 5 minutes can make such a huge difference to your well-being and energy levels. And on that note, the last thing I would like to talk about is remember to take some time for yourself. We already talked about movement and nutrition and spirituality and finding joy in work or other things, whatever it is for you, but it's also important to remember the fun side of things. So remember to carve out some time to explore your creativity or curiosity, be it reading, be it painting, be it spending some time in nature or whatever that might be. For myself, I can say that once it gets brighter, I will spend much more time outside. I will go on longer walks. I'll just try to be outside as much as I can, really, because I don't know, I just like it. It makes me feel good, so that's why. And then, I don't know, I haven't decided yet whether I want to read more in spring or whether I want to go back to watching K-dramas or whether I want to spend more time with my friends. I will see, and also time will tell. I try not to pre-plan or pre-book my free time, because the whole idea of free time is to keep it free and do whatever you feel like doing in the moment. So yeah, take up some time to do the things that you like. After all, spring is the best season to fall back in love with life again. And with that, I'm gonna finish this video. Let me know in the comment section what your glow up plans for this spring are. And as always, I wish you a great day and I will see you next time. Bye bye.